Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel again. So this is Cloud Institution. Today we are going to see one of the AWS real-time interview question on VPC connections. Okay, so the question for the day is, so I have 10 VPCs. Okay, so all VPCs needed to be connected each other. Okay, so do you suggest VPC peering or transit gateway? Okay, so the interviewer will be asking you to test your knowledge on VPC peering and transit gateway. Okay, so basically here the answer is what is the difference between VPC peering and transit gateway. Okay, so both the VPC peering and transit gateway are used to connect to each other VPCs. Okay, so but what is the better option, which you will choose? So when you have more than 10 VPCs, okay. So for example, if you can see here, he has clearly mentioned that I have a 10 VPCs. Okay, so all the VPCs needed to be connected each other. So now let's try to understand what is VPC, okay, and what is VPC peering and what is transit gateway, okay. For example, I have a 10 VPCs, right? So I'll be, for example, I'm not going to write everything, but I'm just randomly writing, some kind of a VPCs like this, okay. So I'm just writing like this, okay. So let's consider that each and everything is a VPC, okay. So it's a VPC one, VPC one, um, okay. So VPC one and sorry. Um, okay, so VPC 1 and VPC 2 and VPC 3, uh, VPC 3 and VPC 4 and VPC 5. Okay, so VPC 6 and then VPC 7. Okay, let's have like this. So now what happens is that what's happening when you're connecting the VPCs together. Okay, so this is the VPC 1, right? So this is VPC 1. For example, if we need to connect, everything has to be connected together. Okay, that is what the question is. So in this case, what I have to do is I have to create a VPC connection between these two VPCs, okay, and then I have to create a VPC connection between these two VPCs, okay, and then these two VPCs, and then like this, okay, like this, okay, like this, and like this, okay, and like this, okay. So now I have to connect it like this. But do you think that all the VPCs are connected together? No. So even though we have connected VPC 1 to VPC 2, but VPC 1 and VPC 7 is connected. Okay, so VPC, we have created a VPC connection between VPC 1 and VPC 2 and VPC 1 and VPC 7. But what about, so like, okay, so what about the VPC 1 to VPC 4? Okay, so there's still the VPC, the connection is not been created. So likewise, if you want to connect all the VPCs together, all the VPCs to each other, okay, then what I have to do is I have to create a VPC peering connection from 1 to 6. Okay, 1 to 5. Okay, so 1 2 3. So likewise I have to create a VPC peering between, okay, so VPC 2 to VPC 7 and then VPC 2 to VPC 6, you know just 5 4, likewise, right? 4 and 3. So likewise, so again, if you want to connect VPC 4, with each other, so that connectivity will be becoming very very complex. Okay, so we don't know, like, what is the which VPC ID I have to choose. For example, which VPC peering ID I have to choose to check whether the connection is proper or not. Okay, so each and every VPC peering will create a VPC peering ID. Okay, and also if you can see the route table. Okay, so the route table where you have to mention, okay, so you have to mention all the VPC peering connections on the route table, right? So on the common route table for each and every VPCs, okay, so the route table, that VPC peering connection route table will be very very big. Okay, so in order to avoid these kind of the complexities, because just that we have just mentioned VPC 7, okay, but the question is I have more than 10 VPCs. Or each and every VPC has to be connected with each other. Okay. So in this case, what is the best option we have to choose? Is that okay? So the best option for this particular, the particular scenario is that I'll be choosing the transit gateway. Okay. So this is the transit gateway. Okay, so the transit gateway. Okay, so what happens is that if any of the VPCs needs to be connected together, they have to just create a VPC, you know, so the I mean create a transit gateway connection. They have to be connected through the transit gateway. Okay, if VPC 1 wanted to connect to VPC 3, they have to connect it through the transit gateway. Okay, again, if you want to connect it from VPC 2 to VPC 3, okay, and then we have to establish a connection to VPC 2 so that the VPC 2 and VPC 3 will be able to connect through transit gateway. Okay, so now now please tell me now, like, what is transit gateway is all about? Okay, so if you have this one, if you can see here, instead of having so many entries in the route table, now in my route table I'll be having, okay, so maybe this is the route table. Okay, I will be having how many IDs, how many entries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just 7 entries. Okay, so just 7 entries I'll be having in the so in the route table to connect all these things, right? So I'm not going to write everything, but this is what the answer which you have to be explaining to the interviewer, that hey, look, because the VPC is getting more and more complex, so I don't want to use VPC peering. I'll go with a VPC transit gateway. Okay, so that is the answer. We have to be answering it to the interviewer. Okay, the answer we need to choose the transit gateway as a first choice when compared to VPC peering to reduce the complexity. Okay, so this is the exact answer we have to be giving to the interviewer for this question. Okay, so hope this question was really helpful for you. Okay, so if you're going for any interviews, please read all our interview questions, before you're going to the interview. This it will be very, very helpful for you, to crack the interview, because we'll be explaining to you in a real time manner, because the questions are real time. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe. Okay, so please stay tuned with us for more videos. Okay, thank you.